On September 9th, Apple, the most valuable company on the planet, unveiled its most advanced, most beautifully engineered iPhone ever. The stock market's reaction? It hit the sell button. So what happened? Why would a massive product launch from a titan like Apple cause its stock to drop? The easy answer you'll hear everywhere is sell the news. But that's not the real story. The real story is more complicated, more important, and it reveals a potential crisis brewing inside the walls of Cupertino. By the end of this video, you will understand the 3 hidden reasons behind why Apple stock dropped, and more importantly, what these signals tell us about the future of Apple and the entire tech industry. In a world of financial noise, let's find the signal. Welcome to Smart Money Sense. All right, let's get right into it. The immediate reaction to Apple's stock dropping after the iPhone 17 event seems like a paradox. New products should equal good news, right? But in the world of investing, especially with a company as heavily scrutinized as Apple, it's rarely that simple. To understand what happened, we first need to look at a classic Wall Street pattern. This pattern is called buy the rumor, sell the news. And Apple is the textbook example. Here's how it works. For months leading up to the event, rumors from the supply chain, leaks, and analyst predictions build up a mountain of hype. Investors, anticipating a blockbuster announcement, start buying the stock. This is the buy the rumor phase. The stock price climbs not based on facts but on expectation. Then event day arrives. Tim Cook takes the stage, and the new products are revealed. But here's the key. By this point, almost everything has already been leaked. There are very few surprises. The hype has peaked. The investors who bought in early, riding that wave of anticipation, now see their chance. They sell the news, taking their profits and causing the stock to dip. This isn't a sign of failure. It's a predictable cycle of market psychology. And the historical data for Apple backs this up completely. Looking at the last 13 iPhone launches, Apple's stock was either flat or down in 8 of them in the 24 hours after the event. It's almost a tradition. So yes, a part of why Apple stock dropped is simply this pattern playing out again. But if we stop there, we miss the real story. Because this year, something is different. The sell the news dip was amplified by a much deeper, more significant concern. And that brings us to the real problem, the one that has investors genuinely worried. If you're getting value from this breakdown so far, do me a favor and hit that like button. It tells the YouTube algorithm that we're finding the signal in the noise, and it really helps the channel reach more people. Thank you. The single biggest story in technology right now is artificial intelligence. It's a land rush, an arms race. And the market's verdict is that Apple is falling behind. This isn't just about Siri not being able to tell a good joke. This is a strategic crisis. At its big developer conference earlier this year, Apple teased Apple Intelligence, a suite of powerful AI features that were supposed to be their answer to Google's Gemini and OpenAI's ChatGPT. It was meant to be the revolutionary software that would make the new iPhone 17 a must-have upgrade. But then came the bad news. Key features, including a truly conversational Siri, are now delayed, with some reports saying they won't arrive until 2026. That's an eternity in the world of AI. While Google is integrating AI so deeply into its phones that it can screen your calls, summarize your meetings, and edit your photos in ways that feel like magic, Apple is asking its customers to wait. To make matters worse, there are reports of Apple losing top AI researchers to competitors like Meta. This creates a narrative that Apple, the company that defined the smartphone, is no longer the place to be for the defining technology of the next decade. For investors looking at Apple's massive $3.5 trillion valuation, this is a huge red flag. That premium price tag is built on the assumption of continued innovation and market leadership. But in the most important technological race of our time, Apple appears to be playing catch-up. It's like they've brought a beautifully designed, perfectly polished car to the race, but they forgot to finish building the engine. And that, more than anything, is why Apple stock dropped. The market is pricing in the risk that Apple's AI gap is real and growing. So if you can't win on the software front, what do? You play to your strengths, and Apple's undisputed strength is hardware design. The iPhone 17 lineup is an absolute masterclass in this. The star of the show was the new iPhone 17 Air. It's rumored to be the thinnest smartphone Apple has ever made. It's an engineering marvel. It's also a brilliant distraction. Think about it. The headlines after the event weren't all about the delayed AI. They were about this incredibly thin, sleek new phone. Apple successfully shifted the conversation, at least in the media, away from its biggest weakness, software, and back to its greatest strength, design. And they played a similar game with pricing. Instead of a straightforward price hike, which would have been unpopular, they did something much smarter. For the Pro models, they simply eliminated the cheapest 128 gigabyte storage option. So now, if you want a Pro iPhone, you have to start at a higher price point. This effectively raises the average selling price of their most profitable products without the negative headline of a price increase. It's a brilliant business move designed to squeeze more revenue out of each customer, a defensive strategy to protect profits at a time when they can't drive sales with revolutionary new features. This is Apple's playbook. When the software innovation stalls, dazzle with design and strategize with pricing. It's a way to keep the ship steady, but it's not the kind of bold, forward-looking innovation that gets Wall Street excited. So Apple is playing chess with its hardware while its competitors are playing a different game entirely with AI. What do you think of this strategy? Is it a brilliant defensive move or a sign that they're out of ideas? Let me know your take in the comments below. I read every single one. And if you want to keep making sense of these complex market moves, make sure you're subscribed and have notifications turned on so you don't miss our next deep dive. Finally, we can't analyze Apple in a vacuum. There are massive external forces at play that are putting pressure on every company, even one as powerful as Apple. The threat of US tariffs on goods made in China and India is a constant headache for Apple's supply chain and could force prices up in the future. We're also in an environment of economic uncertainty. A recent jobs report was weaker than expected, and there are ongoing concerns about inflation. In this climate, are consumers going to be eager to spend over $1,000 on a phone that is only an incremental improvement over their current one? That's a serious question, and it's another layer of risk that investors are considering. Apple isn't just fighting a battle against its competitors. It's fighting against a challenging economic backdrop that's squeezing consumers everywhere. So let's bring it all together. Why did Apple stock drop after the iPhone 17 launch? It boils down to these three key signals. One, it was more than just sell the news. The predictable pattern was there, but it was supercharged by real, fundamental concerns about the company's direction. 2, the AI gap is a strategic crisis, not just a feature delay. The market is signaling that Apple's leadership is at risk if they can't deliver a compelling AI strategy, and soon. And 3, Apple is using its hardware genius as a shield. The beautiful new designs and clever pricing are defensive moves to protect the business, while it races to solve its software problem. Now, you have a clearer picture of why Apple stock dropped. It's a complex story about innovation, competition, and a tech giant at a critical crossroads. But the conversation doesn't end here. I want to know what you think. Leave a comment below with your single biggest takeaway from this analysis. Was it the AI gap, the pricing strategy, or something else entirely? And if you're ready for the next topic, click the video on your screen right now. Subscribe to join the conversation and become part of the Smart Money Sense community. Thank you for watching. See you in the comments.